What's up, everybody? This is Hunter Henry and my co-host, Sean Culkin, and this is the Flow Bros podcast, episode 1. We're excited to get this thing going. We've been talking about this for years. Last year, we almost pulled the trigger, and we ended up not doing it. But finally, we're here. We're excited to talk with you guys. I feel like it's been in the works for a while, and finally, we're getting it rolling. And we named it the Flow Bros, because obviously Sean's got a flow. I kind of have always been envious of the flow. So we've always called ourselves the Flow Bros, just being friends. We also just kind of want this podcast to just flow and just let it flow. Guess everything. Just let it roll. Let it go wherever it goes. And so we're excited to get this thing rolling.
No doubt. And it's going to be a pretty chill format, man. It's we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Obviously, we have, a lot of involvement in sports. So that's for the most part what we're going to speak about a lot. And, but, we have a lot of other interests. So with me, I have a big background in finance. I'm going to talk a little stocks, bonds, real estate, and then, dabble in some crypto. And then obviously, I had a pretty big injury last year. So did Hunter. So we'll speak up on some, physical therapy and just the ins and outs of, getting back to peak optimal state of mind and body. And I think there's a lot that we have to offer in that world.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool stories, I feel like, just being friends and being in NFL, being tight ends. We think alike. This is why we're friends. We, are always going back and forth on things. So we're excited to kind of share that dynamic of our friendship, even in this podcast. We're connected. We'll hopefully have some really cool guests on to talk and bounce things off of, so that, you as a listener and viewer are very interested. We have some cool people that we can get on here. So we're excited to get this thing rolling.
Yeah. And we want to know what you guys want too. So we're going to be constantly asking questions, like whether it's topics or guests that you would like to have us bring on. We're open. This is we have structure, but it's also very flexible. And I think that's what's going to be the best part of it.
No doubt.
I think we just kind of get started. Yeah. You probably know a lot about Hunter and myself, maybe too. But I mean, for the audience and viewer that maybe this is your first time being here, who is Hunter? What sport do you play? Where are you from? What team have you played for? There's a lot there that I think we need to know. So why don't you just take it away?
Yeah,
an intro.
The generics, even if you might know me, you don't. So you got to find out a little bit. But so I grew up in a big family. Family is very important to me. I grew up in Atlanta, and then I moved to Arkansas in high school, but all my family's in Arkansas, so I always say I'm from Arkansas, but really Atlanta is kind of where I was raised. I feel like made me into who I was in a way, and so Atlanta has a big part of me and my family. I mean, both my younger siblings were born there, so it's I have 3 siblings, and then my parents are still together, and I think one big thing in our household that we always preached was faith, family, and football, but really the 3 F's, but really it was sports in general, right? It wasn't always just football. We always were trying to play all different sports, right? Baseball, basketball, golf, whatever it is, fishing, or, just trying to be active and competitive. I feel like that was in my household. Have 2 brothers, and my dad played football. So our household was always very competitive. Right. So it was just a competitive mindset, nonstop, and I think has helped me even to this point, to where I'm at. Is just the competitiveness in our household, the never quit mentality, the kind of just work hard mindset to continue to keep pushing no matter where you're at. My dad always kind of instilled that in us. Definitely the hard work aspect. I remember my dad, when I was in probably 8th grade, told me, he was like, man, if because I was kind of you're in 8th grade, right? We don't really know what the work to get to work. You don't know the price to pay. But my dad used to always, I wasn't working hard, right? I was playing basketball. I just thought I was good at basketball, and I was good at football, and I didn't really, I was good. I was big, and so that stuff came easy. And my dad, I didn't really work hard. And my dad was like, well, you keep that up. Wasn't really doing well in school, probably in 8th grade either. And I was going into high school. He was like, you keep this up. You don't work this hard, you're going to be working at Taco Bell. And so I was like,
oh, no, not T-Bell?
T-Bell, man. You're going to be, no offense to any T-Bell workers. It wasn't my aspiration in my life, right? So So that always stuck in my head with my dad is just always driving me. Like, I'm going to prove my dad wrong, and I'm always going to fast forward. Obviously, when I got drafted, I told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm not going to be working at T-Bell, my guy. So that fast forward a little bit.
How cool was that moment too?
Oh, it was great, bro. It was great. I remember just laughing at my dad. I mean, it was a good time, right? I had always that was always a joke. Even when I was in college, it just stuck with me. It was kind of something funny that my dad just said, probably randomly, wasn't even thinking about it. And it stuck with me, and it really actually pushed me pretty hard. But yeah, back to my family, very competitive, fun family. Faith is super important to us and myself, as I know it is with Sean and his family. And, we'll get into that more too. And I think that's just really what dominates my life and helps me make decisions and everything. So fast forward, I play high school football. End up getting recruited pretty good, and a lot of people know that. And then I end up going to Arkansas, play football there for 3 years. End up meeting a beautiful gal there that I kind of always knew of. My beautiful wife now, Parker. We met. Her cousin was one of my best friends, so I kind of got the hook up there, and was able to meet her through my cousin. And we both went to school together. End up doing, and then I leave for school early. So I had a pretty good career, and, achieved a lot of goals and stuff and everything that I kind of wanted to do. And was like, all right, I'm going to leave early. Junior year, a lot of pressure, but I'm like, all right, it's time for me to go and do my thing, and left early, go through the whole draft process, get drafted, second round. A lot of people know this part, but, me and my wife, now we're dated for 2.5 years, long distance, and engaged. So that part of things was kind of difficult in my personal life. Obviously in the football life, it was good. I was able to play in the NFL, living out a dream these past 5 years. It's been
5 years.
5 years, man. 5 years.
Going on
5
6.
years, going on 6.
So this is going to be my 5th coming up. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be your 5th. So,
wow.
Man, it's been fun. We'll dive deeper into
we'll touch on all of that. Yeah.
Our NFL journey, probably college journeys.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was just a brief synopsis of just my family, what they mean to me, my beautiful wife. And then we have an awesome dog now. Got to give a shout out to Coop. He's a beast.
What's the IG tag?
Cooper the Teddy. Hasn't been keeping up with it lately, but he's a beast. Go give him a follow. But yeah, man, it's been good. We got some big decisions coming up ahead, so excited.
Free agency,
yeah, baby.
Icebreaker.
Let's go. We'll touch on that eventually.
Yep.
And that whole process. But I talked a while.
But that's good. That's what we need.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah,
and tell us a little bit about you, bro.
Thing going. Yeah, so I am from Tampa Bay, Florida, actually Indian Rocks Beach, 30 minutes south. Kind of similar to what you said, like our families, like I had an older brother, Ryan, who was 5 years older and always pushed me to just be my best, usually when it came to sports. So I always had that competitive mindset and how I pretty much approached anything in my life. But growing up in Florida, I was, I think, a 5-minute walk from the beach. So it was kind of hard to balance as a kid, and as I, grew up, the balance between, like, say, traditional sports, football, soccer. I swam, that was my first sport. Actually, my dad wanted me to be a great swimmer, being located on the water. So I swam. I was a beast, bro.
Love
Blue
that.
ribbons, just dominating.
Yeah. Dude, swimming is fun.
No
doubt.
It's
a good time.
But and then with that, in the more extreme sports, so I love skimboarding, surfing, wakeboarding. Every spring break, everyone's coming to Florida. I'm going to Colorado. Knee deep in pow, baby, shredding the nard.
You look like a
no. Honestly, snowboarding is my number one passion. I have to put it on hiatus while I'm playing in the league because it's just the risk reward is just scary, right? But I can't wait to when that day comes when football is done and I can just head out to Colorado or to the Rocky, anywhere in out west and just tear it up. But really, basketball is my main focus. I love the sport. I liked because I could do it individually. So I could walk to the park. There's a hoop and I'm just playing there for 5-6 hours a day as a kid. It was normal to me because I just wanted to perfect my craft really at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
And so kind of just that was busy. Every summer I was traveling. I got on Amari Stoudemire's team stat. We got second in the nation one year. Following year I was on Adidas team, Florida Rams, which is the Adidas team for the state of Florida, where like every weekend they would fly us down, have to do practices in Miami. And
gotta love the AAU journey.
Yeah, the AAU
man.
journey, yeah. Because I know we'll talk on that because Hunter did the same thing, and it's a grind, but
It's
also a
blast.
lot of fun.
It's so much
lot
fun,
of fun, man.
So much fun.
It's yeah, I mean, the best parts too, like with any sport, is just, you know, after the games, the meals, you know, the camaraderie, just hanging out with your friends and everything. But did that, but I'm 6'5", and if you watch an NBA game, kind of have to be a point guard, maybe shooting guard at that, you know, to really excel. And I could shoot, but I couldn't shoot at the level. I was getting offers D1, but not high caliber D1, not Power 5 program. So I didn't have the shot necessarily to like, I kind of saw a ceiling, you know, kind of be like, hey, let's just be realistic. I'm 6'5", but you know, I'm the shortest guy on my team for the club for AAU. Yeah. So was playing catch up and started just with football, because everyone's like, yo, do football. You see, you know, who was a tight end at the time? Miami. I can't think of his name right now. Saints.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of correlation of power forward spot and tight ends in the NFL. So I just went on a grind, and this kind of is where our journey begins. But I just wouldn't, all these different camps, all these visits, tryouts with like different colleges, just trying to get my name out there because I was unknown, and it happened fast and it was starting to really pick up speed. So I kind of knew going in senior year, I'm going to do football. But from there, and we'll come on that later, but from there I went to University of Missouri, went there, and I can explain too, like, just they valued me. I think the importance of being valued is super, it's a big factor in your success, I think.
For sure.
Because not that they're not trying to replace you, but when you have something that sees the potential in you and they want to invest in you, then that's like when you're in a spot where you can have growth between both ends, you're going to be optimal.
For sure.
So I picked Mizzou for that reason. And from there, didn't have like the best, huge, glamorous college career, had 3 different offensive coordinators, knew I belonged in the NFL, but also knew that there's a lot of people that think that, but are sitting on the couch and never once play in the NFL. So I see a free education, switched my major from management to finance, and fell in love. Honestly, school and football were almost equal in my eyes at the time, because I knew that this is something that you can't take away from me, is my education. So really invested in that, got a bunch of internships that really kind of had an impact on the way I think and handle my expenses and finances now as I, you know, progress in the NFL. But that's kind of my story. I you know, we'll talk about our seasons, like in-season schedule, out-of-season schedule, and where I really spend, you know, a lot of time doing the finance stuff in the off-season. But let's go back and let's tell us,
like, I mean, just a little bit about your journey, but then you talked about Missouri and you had a chance to go to the NFL, but it wasn't, you know.
No, you're right. Yeah. So I knew I belonged, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I knew I belonged, but knew that it could easily not happen, but I had to at least like give it a shot, right? So I was starting to train for the combine, which I didn't get an invite.
Yeah.
I did not get a combine invite, stupid. Guys. All right.
That's so dumb.
And started to see, okay, I think I can make this happen, but I don't know. I'm 5th, 6th, 7th round, who knows? And I'm going undrafted. And that process is crazy. It's like doing the recruitment process coming out of high school to college, which is like months for me, but typically years. You probably got your first offer in freshman, sophomore year. Compile that into an hour.
Yeah.
You're talking to all these different teams, trying to figure out where you're going to go based off the roster, opportunity system, what kind of tight ends do they have. And through that, I picked the Chargers because they were the only team that flew me out for a top 25 visit. So every team in the process leading up to the draft gets to bring in 25 players to come in, do your physicals, see the doc, you know, sit down, talk ball, kind of show them your IQ. And they were the only team to do that, and the only team that flew to Columbia, Missouri for a private workout. I had plenty come to the pro day, but not for a private workout. So I kind of knew in the back of my head, hey, if I go undrafted, they valued me, right? For the same reason why I went to Mizzou. And okay, it came down to it. I'm sitting in Tampa Bay, Florida with my family. Bucks. I was a Bucks fan my whole life growing up,
Yeah.
and had an opportunity with a couple other teams, but I just knew that I think I'm going to benefit from making that decision and going with my gut.
Yeah.
Went up to LA. I've never been to California, and I never once got the tap on the shoulder.
Yeah,
we need your playbook. Come on upstairs. Like, it's a bad thing, guys.
I got to see it firsthand. I mean, I think what's cool about us is we have two different journeys, right? He's kind of got that underdog and undrafted, even coming out of high school.
Right.
You know, not like you said, Missouri values you, and so you saw that. You know, there wasn't, but not like discrediting you, but obviously there weren't offers just going all over the place, right?
A complete different journey for each of us, which I think will be cool.
Yeah, but also like, and then I got drafted, he got undrafted, so it was two different like journeys in that sense. And I don't like to like boast or like any of that. So like that's why we kind of connect on the same thing.
It was a bond that we had.
Like
where like also you were a friend that, you know, of the first time I met you, like, you know, we were doing that one workout, and I just remember you coming up to me and being like, "What's up, Beast? What's up, man? How we doing? Good you're here, man." Yeah. And like, you were always somebody that befriended me early on, and then it was somebody that I can kind of, because I was older,
right?
But in this world, you have so much more experience in the NFL as a professional athlete. So I would always just ask you on like how I'm doing, what can I do better, and you were just there for me in a lot of different ways. And like you said, like that kind of this. From an early age, we knew the Flow Bros was in. We
knew it was. We got to go back though to tell people kind of how we met and everything. So, like he said, he was getting recruited, and he's a year older than me. And I didn't go to many camps, but this man was a camp warrior. And was just grinding on camps, going to camp after camp after camp. So I decided to go to the Friday Night Lights camp at Florida.
Which is invite only.
Invite only. It's a big time. It is a big camp. I mean, I would say there's the top 100 kids are there,
right?
For sure,
top 100, yeah, for sure.
Like you're going against
top 5 in every position.
You're going against
in the South, especially. Yes. You know, being in Florida and Gainesville, it's where a lot of the
top prospects are there. So you're going against the best. There was only 3 of us, right? There,
which is funny because. It was like the number 1 tight end in my class, and then he was in the number 1 tight end for the class below me. And I just felt singled out, guys. Let me tell you. And that's where I was like,
I wasn't number 1.
You were number 1? Number 2?
I was like probably 3 or 4.
3? Okay.
So yeah.
But he was like, "Oh yeah,
not one though.
This is my first camp." I'm like, "Oh really?" Like, this is camp number 19 in the last 35 days.
I was a year younger than you though. But we hit it off in a way. I mean, obviously we were going on two different journeys. I mean, he was going to Missouri, and then I ended up going to Arkansas. But Missouri comes to SEC, and we end up actually playing against each other, or kind of rivals over the years.
Rival, right? Yeah.
And so we're 1-1 against each other. He's beaten Arkansas. He's 2-1 against Arkansas.
But since then, I think it's
we're definitely in Missouri's favor more than Arkansas. But we're on the climb. We're on the climb. We don't have to get into that. But we saw each other from afar. We're friends, like kind of not really friends, but like just kept up with each other, right?
UTC camp, Ultimate Training Camp, which is put on by is it FCA or
AIA, Athletes in Action.
Athletes in Action.
Yep. So we both went to that, not at the same time, 2 different years, but it's kind of a community,
right?
We all itself. It's all new, similar people. It's a very unique camp that I would recommend all athletes, no matter what your belief is or anything. I think it pushes you in a different way.
It pushes you. Yeah, that could be a whole episode.
Yeah,
but it pushes. It's 24 hours of competition.
Yeah. So we won't give away everything because you got to go to the camp to experience it. But I highly recommend Ultimate Training Camp. We both went to that. Then we fast forward, right? I end up leaving early. He's still in school. I go to the Chargers, get drafted, play my rookie year, and then he comes in the next year as a tight end, undrafted guy. And it was just kind of crazy how it all collided and came together, and we were on the same squad all of a sudden after all these years, meeting him at Florida. Just at a random camp, if you really think about it, right? Honestly. It was just like random that we both ended up at that camp. And then we ended up playing together in the NFL. So it was pretty cool. And then I got to, we I wouldn't say we were. I mean, we kind of hit it off. I probably should have been a better friend. During
Yo,
the summer.
he didn't accept my Instagram or you didn't add me until I made the team. Like I feel like leading up to the process, he was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna befriend him, like because he was there. Like, don't get me wrong, everything I said prior is true, but it was like, is he gonna be here or not? Like for sure, I don't know. Like I can't get too close because 9 out of 10 times the undrafted free agent's getting cut. So, and I think we should honestly just go straight into the process of, do you make the team? Do you not?
Well, let's just talk about so you're continuing our journey together as friends, right? Wasn't a great friend, maybe, whatever. Instagram, I wasn't great at Instagram at this time. It was about 4 years ago. But so we go through camp, and we start to kind of grow closer. I mean, obviously in camp, it's a grind, right? You're going through the daily grinds every single day, meetings all day long. So we're together all day long, eating lunch, eating 15 dinner, hours a day, eating breakfast, working out, practice, like the grinds, doing walkthroughs, all this kind of stuff. We're doing all this stuff. So obviously you grow a relationship with anybody in your type
for sure. You get super close with everyone you're around. Cause like you said, it's just like for 30 days, that's all you see.
So it's all you see, man. It's like, geez, like you just kind of get locked in. But that's what's fun about football, because
the best part,
you're going through a grind, but also this is where you build that chemistry, that camaraderie, the team aspect of everything. So we fast forward, Sean undrafted. A lot of guys get hurt, and
okay, yeah,
take advantage of it.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yeah, we're taking advantage of this.
So basically, we can go on a lot of things here. So, you're undrafted, right? So you don't know if you're going to get an opportunity or not, or how many you have. So if you're first round, you got a lot of money guaranteed, like you have a ton of opportunities to show why you belong. You're undrafted, you don't get many. You get 1, 2, 3, but it comes. So like everyone gets a shot. I can't. Chad, the center that lost a ton of weight that used to play for San Diego. You know what I'm talking about? The center, the big dude, but he came and spoke to the rookies, and he was like, "Don't say you didn't get opportunity."
Come on, Nick Hardwick.
Nick Hardwick, my bad.
Come on, bro.
Nick Hardwick, my bad. Nick,
shout out, Nick.
My bad.
You're a beast.
He came and spoke to us, and he like, hey, I'm gonna give you a blueprint on like how to be successful in the NFL, how to make it, how to last.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here taking notes, man. And I remember even after OTAs, before camp started, I reached out to him because I was going through those notes. But he was like, hey, don't say you didn't get an opportunity, because it's gonna happen. And for me, like you said, we had a scrimmage, and I think because I was seventh on a depth chart. You show up, you're a rookie. Doesn't matter if you're drafted or not. They start you on the bottom. It's just how fast can you climb to the top?
Right.
And a guy, I think meniscus, hurt his knee.
We had a few guys. I mean, we probably had 2 or 3 tight ends go down in one day.
I had an opportunity and just took that and ran with it, man.
It wasn't me. All those people.
Yeah, no.
My injury prone self. Yeah, whatever.
The thing is, I think for preseason, that's what happened. I was third string, but number 1 and 2 are you and Gates. So after the first drive, you're out. Gates is out. He didn't even do the first drive. So I know some people that were undrafted that year that would get 4 snaps at the end of the game. I got 60, 50 snaps, and I saw an opportunity and I just ran with it, man. And I just tried to show my value, whether that's fullback, long snap, play off the ball, hand in the dirt and block, do like the ground, special teams. I just hey, to last, I need to show that I'm valuable.
Yeah.
And
you got to take advantage of an opportunity, like you said. You know
no doubt.
I mean? It's like he jumped on it. So we fast forward, he balls out, has a great camp. And, I was like, man, this kid's going to make the squad. It's going to be fun. So I ended up inviting, like the last weekend of the, give us 2 days off on the like right after camp. The last preseason game, we could have a day or 2 off before we're about to get into the grind of the season. I was like, Sean, come on over, bro. Like, hang out, come stay at my house for the weekend. So Friday night we have a good time, like hang out, and I was like, just stay with me for the weekend, bro. We hung out, but Saturday is the big day, right? Like Friday is a cut day, but I was like, for Saturday, you make it past 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern, then you're making the squad. So we wake up Saturday morning. I'm like, we're just hanging out, watching football, coffee, just hanging out. And I'm like, man, this dude, he's making the squad for sure. Like, I don't have to worry about this. So we're just sitting there,
and constantly just telling me like, hey man, like, because I'm freaking out a little bit
Little
because I'm a little
head
nervous,
case.
right? Little head case. Like I'm like, man, I don't know. It's nothing set in stone. I don't know. And if you get the call, that's a bad thing, right? So you don't want to get the call. You just want to act. You just
for sure.
Okay, the 101 came, nothing, good to go. But he's always there, dude. You bald, like you're gonna be here, bro. Like don't worry. And you know, as it goes, it's 10:30, 11. We're cool. We're watching basketball, I think, or something. And then, boom, like it was 12:15, like 45 minutes out.
Yeah.
And I get a call, and I don't even know if I had his number saved. So it's just a random call, and it says Costa Mesa, and my heart drops. And I look at Hunter,
and
you're
like, man, I don't want to be a part of this.
Oh no! I was like, you said I'm not getting cut, bro. I was like, oh, so I'm like,
heart dropped.
No, like, and I'm like, is this really happening, man? I call, and it's Arthur, our director of ops guy, who's like, his job is to make the rookie like a seamless transition to like, hey, where can you live? Rental cars. Like he's the guy, he's the plug that's going to help facilitate that whole process.
Right.
And he was just calling me because he knew I made it. Like internally, he knew. So he was like, hey, let me know if you need anything. I got your back. But bro, I thought he was calling me to cut me, like, because I didn't know who it was. And I don't know if I ever told him this story, but Arthur, if you're listening, man, you have me sweating, my guy.
Hey, big shout outs today. Shout out to Arthur Hightower, baby. Big time on the call. Hey, he's been in the league now. You're coming up on your 5th year, just finished your 4th year. So look, hey, this is a long time ago, but that was a stressor. And it was funny because the phone was like face down, right? And it was sitting on a coffee table. So yeah, right. I think you were in the other room, and all of a sudden it just started buzzing, right? And I'm just like, oh shoot! Like I've been telling this man, he's making the squad, bro. I've seen it kind of now. Like I know the guys that I kind of get a feel for it, you know. Like once you've been around, you kind of get a feel for who's gonna make the squad, like how they did in camp. And I was like, he's making it. But then this call came, and we flipped it over, and it was unknown, and it was California.
Oh, no.
I'm like, man, I do not want to be a part of this, bro. This is terrible. But makes the squad, bro. We end up having a fun year, man. Honestly, didn't start great that year. Oh, that was the year we went 0-4 to start, but then we went on a roll,
run,
like, 9-2 down the stretch or something. Yeah, it was a fun year, man, and it was a fun room that we had. We had you, me, Gates. All-time great, Hall of Fame, first ballot, just first ballot guy too, right? Bloodbath McGrath. It was a blast to be in that room. Shout out Johnny Mack too, the coach. It was a blast of a year. We had a great, we had a great offense too. Like we finally once we started clicking,
it was clicking. And I'm over here watching Phillip. Like, man, I remember watching him when I was like in 6th grade. Yeah. And I'm like, this is my quarterback now. Right. And that was just such a cool thing. And just seeing an offense that was clicking and vibing and is operating like it's. Like you couldn't get third down. We were complete. We were moving the chains. And like when you have that, and then our defense to play the level that they played. Yeah. That was a year that we probably maybe could be said the best team that didn't make the playoffs.
Okay. Well, we might be pushing it there on that one. But we had a fun year. Yeah. And it was a lot of blast to be a part of. But speaking of like just in season.
First, though, I have to say this. Yeah, I have to say this. I have to give a little bit more on my intro, just quick. 1, to sign up the Chiefs. I'm playing there in Kansas City. Yeah. And 2, I have a beautiful girlfriend, Zuri Hall.
Oh, look at that.
Almost forgot.
Let's go.
That will be an episode for itself on how we met. She's a host for Access Hollywood and also the sideline reporter for American Ninja Warrior. Yeah. But we met pretty uniquely, which I would love to share with you guys later. But I had to throw that out there.
No doubt. Zuri, I mean, better art. We definitely outkicked our coverage.
For sure.
He's shouting out Zuri. I got to give another shout out to my beautiful wife. She's amazing, and honestly, she makes everything kind of she's my rock, makes everything go, man. And our better halves, we'll have them on this podcast just to talk and hang out because
for sure that'll be cool.
They'll tell some real stories for sure that some people might want to hear.
Okay, in season, right?
Yeah, well, let's kind of break down like our in season a little bit. Like, what is a in season week look like that most people wouldn't know? Just the grind of what an in season week would look like. Let's start out. All right, we just played Sunday. We're hanging out. Obviously, we've got a big dub. You're going to hang out. Honestly, you're not doing too much. I mean, it's Sunday because you got to do it at the grind of the season. It's a long year. You might hang out, go get something to eat, but then you wake up Monday and what?
Well, off day. Well,
for different people.
I keep saying it. Yeah. So for me, with the Ravens this past
now, if you win,
So
sometimes once you get on a roll, we'll get Victory Monday.
You get Victory Monday. You get Monday and Tuesday off. But typically, all right, on a Monday, you're coming in at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Some people like to get in there and get after it.
Get early. But you're coming in, and the first thing, and at least from college and all the way through the Chargers, you're coming in, you're squatting, man. The first day after the game, you're hitting legs, which is some would think maybe counterintuitive just because you just played like 80 snaps in a game. But I remember like you started kind of deviating away from that, right? Like what do you don't do that no more,
so
right?
I kind of balance it sometimes, like just since my knee injury, I kind of like to back off, especially once I'm playing those, like you said, 70, 75 snaps. It's it can be a lot, right? A lot of taxing on your legs.
Eckler's over here doing 495 for reps on it the day after a game.
Bro. That man's pound for pound strongest thing I've been around. So, dude's a beast.
Yeah.
But I sometimes wait until Wednesday now, do my squat day.
Interesting, which is new because I think for me, they were like, well, you got to do it because to last a 16, 17-week season, you have to keep your strength. So the quickest way to recover for the next game is to do it the day after. But I mean, you're coming in, you're working out, you're getting in a sweat in, you're going for a little jog, getting a stretch, and then going to meetings, reviewing game film from the prior game the day before, learning from the mistakes, kind of just, and you're split up in a position, meeting room too.
Right.
And just kind of going over everything, but at the same time, knowing you got to get ready for the following week, right? So you're already maybe starting to have, and it's not install, but like watch some film of the other opposing
right. You're already
team.
Putting stuff up of whoever you're playing that next week. Like you're starting to watch it together, just a little bit as a group, and then you're kind of watching it a little bit that night. Maybe just towards the end, then I leave. I kind of get a little break, right? So from that Monday night till about Tuesday, after lunch, it's just prime, just hanging out. Tuesday is completely off. He was different this past year, but most people,
Monday you come in.
Tuesday's your off day. You're doing your massage, you're seeing a chiropractor, physical therapy,
big recovery day,
whatever
you got to do to this feel right from the game and then getting primed for Sunday.
Yeah, everything's about getting yourself ready, man. And obviously I've been through some injuries too, so I try to stay proactive on everything.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if I had an injury on that Sunday, I want to go in and make sure my hips are even, right? Shout out Doc Adams, Mark. The goats over there, chiropractor, massage, getting you all aligned so that week you're in peak condition to get going and be ready to go. So Tuesdays are huge for that, and just making sure everything's working so that you can get that week of practice in and then get ready to go for the game. So,
and the week of practices really is confined into 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. That's your long days. That's what you're getting paid from beyond the game on Sunday. Like you're coming in 6 a.m. probably, maybe 7. You come in a little late because, No, you come in, you're getting your lift.
I get my lift in the morning.
Right, yeah, right. You get your lift in, and you're probably wrapping up, getting breakfast before your first meeting, 7:55, right? Yeah,
somewhere around
8.
There. Yeah.
And that's when you're meeting as an offense, going over through install, plays, schemes after watching like the prior games before then, like what has worked. It's a copycat league, so like what plays and schemes have worked, against that opponent up till now. And so you might add maybe what percentage of the install for a game is something that we rep day in, day out in camp, or something that's completely new. What would you say?
For sure. It's kind of funny. A lot of the rookies, when you come in camp, it's a lot of basic install, right? In camp. Obviously you'll sprinkle in some stuff like that you kind of want to see and test out every once in a while, but that's kind of mainly with the ones, right? So the guys that kind of been around kind of know the stuff. But once you get into season, you see that first install. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff.
Learning a playbook.
It's completely different in a way.
You have to be so smart, I think, just to be in the NFL because of the plays.
Yeah, for sure. And so Wednesday is that day when you come in
Right.
and you look at that play call sheet and you look at kind of what's laid out, run game, first and second down pass game. We're going to go a little bit of third down on Wednesdays. So it's honestly, it's a blast though. Like Wednesdays, it's a grind,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's fun just to figure out what you're going to have to do because you're doing, like, especially at the tight end position, we're doing so many different things every single week that it's a challenge every week. Like, what's our new challenge every single week?
And I think a lot of people too, I mean, especially when you hear like a Hunter Henry or Travis Kelce or Ertz, it's like, oh, they just catch balls, right? But like really tell them what the tight end does. Like, what are our responsibilities? It's not just catching footballs.
Man, shout out to all the tight ends out there. Big shout out day to day.
Big shout out day.
Gosh, the tight ends, it's such a cool position. We love the position. I think every tight end has a special place for it in their heart that we want to continue to get that recognition. I think obviously I feel like everybody is, but I feel like there's so much demanded, right? You have to know behind the quarterback, we have to know the most on the offense.
No doubt.
So we have to know, we're sitting in those run game meetings, protection meetings, and we have to know all of it, right? So we're sitting in that, locked in, trying to figure out all the different schemes and different things we're going to do that week.
And how you can run the same play 10 different times. And what's the one variable that's changing? The tight end. Motions. He's doing this. He's going front. Now he's going slicing back. But
no doubt.
Run game, pass protections. You have to be in sync with the O-line. You got to be in sync with the running backs. You got to be in sync with, obviously, the quarterback and receivers in the route game.
And you got to be in sync with your fellow tight ends.
Man, the tight end is just the best position ever, man.
Oh, no doubt. It's a blast, bro. We just get to go out there and ball and do everything we can on the field. Yeah, we're biased, but whatever. I just like to lay out a little.
But it is the best.
Just lay out a little bit of like what it is. I mean,
it's a lot. It's a lot. And
we're athletes, bro.
And then not only that, like you have to, how long do you have before the snap? And then as the defense changes, you got to think about the play, 100%. The routes, and everything you have to do that in seconds.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, milliseconds. Like instantly, or you're covered, or it doesn't work, or you missed a block. So like it's the ability to not only be able to have the capacity to learn it, but you have to process it, digest it, make it an extension of who you are, and then put it against a live moving target that's 100%. Getting paid to do the exact same. I mean, we're just now talking football, not just tight end. It's a fun.
They're not small either. It's not like we're just going.
Oh no, yeah, right.
This dude is running a 4.5 and he's 265, 270 or more, right. And he's looping all of a sudden, and we're running a back like gap scheme or something. All of a sudden he looped in and you're like, oh,
or it's third down, and then you check to a protection, and then you realize, oh wait, I don't have tackle help, and you're one-on-one with Von Miller.
Yeah, we're one-on-one with elite rushers.
That
whoa,
right.
But hey, let's strap it up right now. I'm about to compete at a high level right now and get after it. Right, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. That's the name of the game, and the key to it is to win more than you lose.
Stack those W's more than L's, man.
Like, you're gonna win. You're gonna lose some, bro. These dudes are getting paid too, right? These dudes are getting paid. But we get to our Wednesday. Thursday is kind of similar. Third down, red zone, kind of long day. Friday is a chill day.
Done by noon.
Done by Fridays. 12:31.
Friday's a big hey, if you're gonna take a break before the game, that might be maybe date night. Whether you're not going out, maybe it's just hey, we're gonna have dinner at home. Like you got a break to kind of get away, make sure you're still doing your prepping, you're watching film on your iPad, because the work goes home with you. That's one thing. It's hard to separate work home life balance because you have iPads now. Everything with COVID went digitized. So it just goes home. And so, Friday though, I do think because you're starting to get that game plan down, right? It's starting to become okay, you're later in the week. You really understand it. You take a little break. Saturday, you're coming in. It's not super early, but it's not late. Maybe 8:39. Coming in, walk through hour, just in shoes typically. Getting in, getting out. Then you got a break, and then you go to a hotel, whether home or away. That's what a lot of people think that's crazy, and it's just so normal for us. Right?
It is normal because I feel like that's just part of our routine. But every Saturday, for obviously 16. even more for preseason. If we have preseason games,
Right.
we're staying in a hotel before the night of the game, like to get us away and locked in. I mean, I kind of would love to stay at home. I mean, it'd be nice, but part of the process. It's kind of what you're used to. It is what it is. Kind of stuff we've been doing forever, so you kind of get used to it. But yeah, then
and then it's game time, baby.
You wake up, it's game
time.
Hey, I don't know about you. Are you eating much?
Oh, I eat more than you. You can't just chow down, right?
Yeah,
lead up to the game. But for me, pregame meal, it depends though, right? Like for me, it's like I have a system. So if it starts at 1, then I know I'm going to start every single game at like 8 o'clock. Wake up, leaving at 9. This is when I eat. This is when I have a snack. This is when I have my pre-workout. If it's 7 o'clock, then I'm having a pre-workout late, and I am up late.
Yes, you are,
I'm up until the crack of dawn.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, for me, omelet, maybe a little bit of chicken breast for protein. I won't finish it. Some carbs and a smoothie, and I gotta have some coffee.
No doubt. Yeah,
the coffee already starts.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. Coffee's huge because we always usually play at 1 o'clock games. You'll have obviously a sprinkle in primetime games, so that kind of changes your routine sometimes. But yeah, I'm not eating much. So honestly, Saturdays I eat a little bit more. Saturday night,
right?
I'll have like my pasta, maybe a steak or something like that. Some protein, packet full of protein, and so it is definitely a lot.
It's weird. It's weird too. Just I mean, even if you don't play, I remember my rookie year when I was inactive a lot of games, and like just the game day experience, like you just don't eat much either, and it's just a long.
It's a long day.
Like you're up, you're on at 9, like you're kind of just you're heading to the stadium. The game's won, but like that goes 4 hours. Like before you know it, it's been. That's one thing I think I could benefit more from is like having more of a plan actually to like still get my carbs in, because you go so long without like you're just burning energy.
For sure.
But after, man, I'm just dead tired.
Oh, dead tired and just super hungry.
Right.
You know,
and where do you typically go after the game? Like if you hey, I will just bring up a real game. I think we did it one time, but toe touch, one hand touchdown. I think it might have won the game your second year.
Oh, we lost.
After we lost. Okay. All right, let's say we won. Big game. Where are you going? Tell them the ideal night.
I want to come back to OC because I want to be closer to home.
Right.
So I'm not gonna go probably near the stadium, but
you gotta beat that traffic too.
Got to beat the traffic.
Carson.
Golly, where am I gonna go? I'm probably going to Seoul, man. I got a big shout out to Seoul.
Big shout out to
Mexican.
Soul.
Gonna get a like chicken quesadilla or a chicken bowl and just chow, man. And it sounds so good.
The waitress that had the bowled up tattoo underneath her.
Oh yeah, we did have a waitress that
knew, like we go there
at the Charger, at Seoul, and she came over to our table, knew us, and she was like, bolt up, rolls her tongue down, has a tat of a bolt up with a charger, like a thunderbolt on her bottom lip. I was like, good for you. That's like you're in there. Like
she would hook it up every time.
Oh, she would hook it up. It was great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Seoul. If you're ever in Newport Beach,
big shout out day.
Got to go to. So we're always going to be a big shout out.
The people that got us here, man.
Yeah, we're going to continue to do that. It's honestly, it's been a blast. I feel like we're excited to continue this, you know, and continue talking. This is just a glimpse,
right?
You know what I mean? Like there's so much.
I think. Yeah, we like you said earlier, like this flow, right? But like I feel like we have plans to talk about one thing, and then we'll just go down a whole nother path. But it's just as like
it's just as good and fun, and we have so many stories and good times that we've spent together, football and off the field, and then a lot of struggles too that we've been through together as well. So we've been through a lot together.
The mentality component, I think, is huge because it's for me, like people ask me like, hey, what's the difference between the 3 levels, like high school to college to NFL? And as you continue to go up, you see that the physical similarities are all pretty like identical, right? Like for the most part, tight ends are going to be 6'5", 250 to 260, running 4.7 sub to 4.7 40, right? And you can block and catch. But there's gonna be like certain people that just have a different way of thinking that elevate them. Obviously, there's people that are freak athletes, great gifts, and are just ballers, right? But for the most
we've
part,
seen those.
I think a lot of what brings that out of the person is their mindset. And I think through, like we said, through surgeries that we've had, that man, you're getting used to this lifestyle, and then that fast you're down here and you got to build back up to there. Like there's so much growth on the way to get like where you are right now. When I was living with you 3 years ago as your roommate, you weren't this person then. Like you had a little hiccup, right?
Yeah.
And then, but that was growth. You learned so much in that, and I can't wait to kind of like uncover that more.
Yeah,
whether it be from my side or your side.
100%.
And that's what it's going to be about. And then in various different avenues.
And we got free agency on the way for your boy. So
shoot, we might announce on it. Maybe. I don't know. I want to
stay tuned. You
but
might want to lock in. I might announce something on the pod. We'll see what happens.
I mean, not to
coming
even
up,
like
so
go into that, but like just tell your audience, like, what have you kind of like treated like free agency like just more so like how are you kind of getting your mind away from it? I'm sure that's
it's huge. I mean, I think a lot of people, what they don't realize is like, I mean, it's a really cool thing, man. It's something crazy, but it's a lot of pressure in a way. Like it's a lot of stress just because we are human, you know, we're still people and like human beings, and you know, it's just like could be moving to a new place. And obviously I have a beautiful wife that has lived here now and for 3 years, and she's kind of comfortable, and it could be somewhere new and it could be something different. So it can be stressful for her too.
Yeah.
No, and so so I think sometimes people don't take that into account and what that means. But for us, man, we're just spending time with each other. She actually walked away. She's used to be a nurse, but she actually walked away from nursing. And we're spending a lot of time together. She's killing it. She's got her own. She's got her own Arbonne business.
Yeah,
hit us up if you want some products. They're awesome. Honestly, I love their products. And she's a boss and just crushing it. So it's been fun. We're excited to kind of see what's to come.
Right? Isn't that crazy how like in this profession, it's one of the only few that like so quickly you can just go to a different state, a different city. I mean, I know a lot of different occupations, like you kind of have a plan that you're like, hey, that we might have to migrate this way and that's better for us as a family, and you do it. But like, for instance, my situation last year, I remember telling Zuri every day I'm driving down to Orange County for rehab, and I'm like, listen, when this happens, when a team calls, like, or really I was waiting to get healed. Like I was telling teams throughout camp, like, listen, I just wasn't there yet, honestly. So that was one of the hardest things for me too, just like waiting on my body to catch up to where my mind is. But I was like, listen, when this comes, like when we figure it out, it's going to happen fast. Yeah. And I remember I was at the point where like, it was still kind of up and down. I'm like, okay, I either need to chill from running routes and like give it a break and do back 3 to 4 more weeks of just PT and then try again. Or if I have a good workout, I'm going. And I felt good, told my agent to shop me around. And again, kind of similar to the free agent process I spoke about, it was like a couple, 3, 4 different teams that are like, we need to know within the hour. And boom, going to Baltimore. Yeah. As in, this is 6 p.m. at night. I am on a flight the next morning at 7 a.m. going to Baltimore for a tryout. But I packed, I knew for like, that was just the mentality component, right? Like I knew like wherever I was going for that tryout, I was making a team. Like I was going to be there for. So I packed for all 16 weeks, got the trial, but then boom, I was in Baltimore for 12 weeks. Yeah. I think week 4, and it just happens fast. I think it's just, you know, I think I'd be curious to know more just on how you and Parker are like planning to like handle that, like free agency, and not only that, but like as you got more years left in the tank. You know, yeah, for
sure. I think, like you said, it can just happen on a dime, and we just never know. I mean, she asked me every single day, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. We're going to find out soon. And then all of a sudden we're going to know. Like it just happens in a blink of an eye, right? It's just.
And you kind of just go with the flow.
Yeah. Flow, right? Yeah, flow, bros. It's just, it's part of life, right? You kind of have to let things just kind of flow off your shoulders and not be stressed about it. Yeah. And obviously there's some stress, but at the same time, man, it's out of our hands. I know God's got a plan for us, and we've got to trust in that, and we got to trust in that it's all going to work out. And that's kind of where our faith comes in. And just sometimes it's hard, man, to just let go and just let and just trust,
Let go
and
and let
then
God.
let it go. But that's something big that we're kind of focusing on right now, is
Yeah.
just drawing closer to God, but also drawing closer to each other. So that I think obviously when you go through a hard time too, you draw close to each other. So not that this is a hard time, but it's just it can be
Well,
a
it's
stressful
different. It's
time,
different. You're not
right?
used to this, right? Your off seasons are typically like, this is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And we're planning for that. And then you're already thinking about like, getting my body right to make plays. So there's a different variable, and I don't know who I'm going to be 86 for. Am I going to be going here? Am I going there? But that's the best and most exciting part of the game too, because with that becomes relationship building. You meet so many new people, and there's a lot of places where, or like, for instance, I think it's analogous to like going to a new school as a kid and being like the odd one out, right? But like, because you all share that one denominator in playing football,
Oh yeah.
like within a day, you have friends that are like you seem like you feel
Similar.
like and you feel like you knew them for how long, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like you kind of the learning curve, or the learning curve, but the curve of like friendship is just, it goes fast because you just go through so much. Like you said, going back to camp, how we built, like, well, we're spending 18 hours, 16 hours a day grinding. Obviously, unless you're just,
like you said, you can't describe it until you're in it. And all those
Right.
people obviously that have played team sports, played football, any kind of team sport in any aspect, and you've had to kind of go through a grind together, right? And like when you're away from it, you can feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
we've been through those injuries, and you get taken away from the game where you can't get that being on the field with your brothers and being out there, and you don't get that same
IR as a
right.
whole. Yeah,
you don't get that
IR
same thing. So
I feel like this is with episode 1, right? It's like, how much are we going to go down? But like, that's another episode. Like, what, like, just being on IR, like you said, because you go from being like this, and then when you get hurt, it's just like you're just out, and you feel like you don't even belong. It's weird, right?
Yeah, well, it's you have a special connection when you're on the field because you're talking about the game plan.
Right.
You're talking about a play that happened. You're talking about different things that happen. You're not, when you're hurt, you're not a part of that.
Yeah.
Right? You're not out there. So
but the game keeps going on.
Keeps
right?
going, man. It keeps going.
So.
But that's where you got to have that tough mentality that we'll talk about in further episodes that we just kind of have been through. But I mean, shoot, it's been pretty good, man. I feel like
I'm excited, man. Episode 1 in the books. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm ready to keep this going. Obviously, we want to know more about what you guys would also like to hear, and like potential guests, topics. I mean, we're pretty much open to talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I think we might even have like at the end of the episode, like maybe every week, even just like talking about a couple like Q&A or something like that, you guys that you submit.
Yes.
Like, we just want to let everyone feel involved in this as we continue to make Flow Bros what it is.
Yeah. If you submit some questions onto people that were with uSTADIUM, or you can Instagram us.
We need to create a Flow Bros.
Yeah, we're going to kind of go with the flow with it. And we want this to be a constant feedback. But like we said, this is at the beginning. This is the Flow Bros podcast. This is episode 1. We were pumped to hang out with you guys. Looking forward to more episodes. Tune in, follow us. I'm Hunter Henry 86, Culk 80 on Instagram. It's kind of where we kind of do most of our social media.
Every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. our time, Pacific time. So we're excited, man. This is put on by uSTADIUM. Shout out to our good friends over at uSTADIUM, and we're excited to partner with them in this. Subscribe, like, hit us up. We're excited to connect with you guys and for future episodes and everything to come.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's flow.